Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm back again with yet another deck tech, and this one is inspired by one of the people who I play against quite regularly on Twitch, and they played this against us the other night. I'm not naming their names, so I don't know if they want to know if they want that described or not, so if they're playing it on MTGO against someone else, it still comes as a kind of a surprise, so I'm not going to name them. But I was really impressed with their deck. It really made me think, and I really enjoyed it, and it is something I've done something similar before, but this time it's a monocoloured deck. So, without further ado, introducing you to Balan Wandering Knight, 2 white white for a legendary cat knight, 3/3, first strike, fine. Balan Wandering Knight has double strike as long as 2 or more equipment are attached to it, and you can pay 1 white and 1 to attach all equipment you control to Balan. So yeah, it's a mono white equipment deck. Hasn't got some of the key cards in it, but I've got quite a lot in it, and I figured I'm not sure it's quite as good as the person I played on my stream with, but I've gone this way with it, so I didn't have to go and get anything. So I had a lot of the cards already, and I thought, no, I'm just going to do with what I've got. So it's a reasonable deck for a change, and here it is. As you can see, as I said, it's completely mono white. There's nothing else here. I have chucked in all the planes you could ever want to see, along with Reliquary Tower, Rogue's Passage, so we can make sure that we can get past all the creatures with Balan, and Temple of the False God as well. But we've got virtually every bit of decent equipment you can think of. I've also put in Emeria, the Sky Rune, just because we're paying very few creatures. You can see here, we've only got 11 in the deck as a total, and you don't really want them to die. You always need something to them that go on. So that's why we've got Emeria in here. But everything else, I have snuck in Arid Messer and Marsh Flats. You can just play Swamps if you haven't got these on your collection. Swamps? Plains. I'm doing it again, sorry. But anyway, Mana Ramp. Tantalite, Soul Talisman, Mana Crypt, Soul Ring, Mana Vault. I think that's all of them I went with, and Thran Dynamo. I suppose you can call Solemn Simulacrum a ramp if you want to. Is so we can get out, because we've got a lot of colourless stuff in here. Along with the white, we've got a lot of colourless. So we've got some other bits and pieces that are really quite fun in the deck. So I'll just go through them. Condemn, Path to Exile, you'll know. Quests for the Holy Relic. When you cast a creature spell, put a quest counter on it, remove 5 quest counters, go and find an equipment and put it on the battlefield attached to a creature you know. Now, like I said, there's not that many creatures in the deck, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to get this to trigger, but at the end of the day, it's probably worth it. And don't forget, when you cast a creature spell, it also means casting your commander. So at the end of the day, you've only got to cast your commander 5 times. Okay, if you cast your commander 5 times, it's going to cost you 14 mana to do it. But hey, you can still get there and go and find a piece of equipment. Sigarda's Aid. Whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you may attach it to a target creature. So, yep, auto-equipping is good fun. Swords of Plowshares goes in with Path to Exile and Condemn. Basilisk Collar, Colossal Hammer are 2 of the other bits of equipment. I forgot about Mana Vault being in here as well. Again, take it out if you haven't got them. Let's say with Mana Crypt as usual. And Shadow Spear gives you creatures trample, +1/+1 and lifelink, and removes all the hexproof and indestructible stuff. There's quite a few god decks kicking around at the moment, I've noticed, so it's worth having that ability to get rid of indestructible. 2 drops. Auric Steel Shaper, Leon Sakir. You'd expect to see both of these in any equipment deck, along with Open the Armory. Radiant Purge is in because there's still Mirim kicking around at the top of the leaderboard for the more competitive EDH decks, especially on MTGO. And obviously, if you're now playing this in real life, you've now got all the new Warhammer 40k Commander decks that are making their presence felt across tabletops everywhere. And this will deal with quite a lot of their creatures, unless you're playing the Necron deck, in which case, yeah, bad luck, it's mono black. Relic Seeker's nice. When it becomes renowned, you go and get a bit of equipment and put it in your hand. Next bit of equipment, Seraphic Greatsword is nice because the angel comes in, taps and attacking, and you still get to keep the angel when it dies, if your creature dies. Saram you'd expect to see. Stonehaven Outfitter you'd expect to see as well. Sunset Revelries here just because I wanted some way to get some extra blockers if we needed it, and the chances are most of your opponents will have more life than you once they realise what you're doing, so you're probably getting the fallen life. Arcane Signet I mentioned. Black Blade Reforged, +1/+1 for each land you control. Put it on a legendary equipment, it's 3, or just 2, which is probably where it ends up. Captain's Claws gives you some more tokens to play around with, so it seemed like a reasonable plan to me. Fell Stone's in, mana ramp. Hero's Blade, legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control. You can auto equip it, which is lovely in this deck. Swiftfoot Boots to protect Balan when you cast them. I don't know if it's male or female cat, to be fair. It's not very clear on the picture. Not sure. Could be either or. So we'll go with that. But you want a way of protecting Balan, and this is one of the easiest ways to do it, obviously. And then Sword of the Animist, go and get some basic lands out of your library as you go along, which is kind of key when we may be trying to get up to the 7 basic planes in play for Emeria to kick off. Ardain, Intrepid Archaeologist, is in as well. You want, at the beginning of your combat on your turn, you may attach any number of ores or equipment you control to target, permanent or player. So you're going to be basically, if you haven't got Balan in play, this is another way. If you haven't got the mana for Balan, you can just chuck all your equipment onto them or onto one of the tokens you may have created. Borrow time for a bit of removal. Dathia, Caspian Paragon, so make your equipment spells cost less. Ghostly Prism to slow down all the attacks you may be facing. Teferi's Protection, along with Unbreakable Formation, just to control what's going on so you stay in play. Always Watching, just to give all your non-token creatures vigilance, and a +1/+1 really helps. Basri Ket's in as well. That does the +1/+1 counter and indestructible until the end of turn. It's also quite a nice way whenever you one or more non-token creatures attack, create that many 1/1 white soldier creature tokens that taps and attacking. If you can get it up to the -6 and get the beginning of your combat, create a 1/1 soldier token, then put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, it's actually quite nice. Kemba Car Regent, at the beginning of your upkeep, creates a 2/2 cat for each equipment attached to him, so definitely worthwhile. And here comes the big bulk of the equipment, as you can see. Loxodon Warhammer, all the Sword of versions kicking around that I own are in this deck now. I've put them all in. They're all reasonable. They're all very good from my point of view, so yeah, that's why they're here. Up to the 4-drops, cast out, more removal. Also, if need be, you can cycle it to draw a card. Release to Memory is a nice way of getting some nice 1/1 spirit token creatures, especially if someone's playing a like graveyard recursion deck. It really does make a mess of their deck. Smothering Tithe, you know what that does. Day of Judgment to control the board. Halavar, God of Battle. It's up to you which side you want to cast it on, to be perfectly honest. Probably going to be the God side most of the time, but sometimes you want the Sword of the Realms just to make sure that you can get the vigilance and the +2/+0. Shatter the Sky, control the board. Helm of the Host. Put this on any of the creatures and things get silly very, very quickly, and it is really good fun. Solemn Sim I've already spoken about. Dathia, Benala's Hopes in as well. First Strike, Vigilance, Lifelink. When it enters the battlefield, you may put an aura or equipment card from your hand or the graveyard onto the battlefield attached to it, so it's a nice way of recurring any of your equipment that's been killed off by something or other. Rabble Rousing, just to hide away, and when we attack we get those nice little citizen tokens as well, so we get some more tokens to play around with. Elspeth Conquers Death is in, just as a little bit of targeted removal. It also means that you can return a creature or a planeswalker that's happened to have died from the battlefield to the graveyard if they've gone already when you get to level 3, and hopefully you do get to level 3 and it hasn't been disenchanted, exiled, whatever by that stage. Nahiri, the Lithomancer, why not? Core soldier tokens, attach an equipment you control to it. Yep, let's go for it. Why would you not want to do this? Makes no sense to me, not whatsoever, so you would do it. It could also be, you know, if you haven't got Balan, you could play it as your commander, but I prefer Balan for this, hence why it's here. I've also played the other version of Basri, the Devoted Paladin. It's a little bit more expensive at 6 mana, but the +1/+1 and Vigilance at the end turn is quite nice, and the -1, whenever a creature attacks this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it, really helps. And the -6, if we can get there to give them +2/+2 and gain flying into the end of turn, is even nicer. Elspeth's in just for some soldiers and the -3 ability. The -7 again is really nice if you can get there. Admittedly, Elspeth's one stays permanently because it's an emblem, and Basri's one is a one-shot, so bear that in mind when you're playing these. Approach of the Second Sun is our backup win condition. If things go wrong, Approach to the Second Sun will always win you the game, unless you're playing against a mill deck, which, oh well, if he gets milled away, he gets milled away, but hopefully you might have gained 7 life before he gets milled away, so bear that in mind. Brilliant Restoration and Triumphant Reckoning do very similar roles in this deck. Both of them will bring back all the enchantments and artifacts that may have been destroyed. And Triumphant Reckoning also brings back all the Planeswalkers, which makes it that much better from my point of view. And that's really it. It's not a very fancy deck. This isn't a very long deck tech either. But it's just something that I was really impressed with, that one of the people I played against came at me with. And to be fair, they did win the game and they did get it through, because there's no way they had 3 of the swords in play and no one could deal with their creatures. Especially when Balan was in play. I think they had Swiftfoot Boots and 3 or 4 of the swords attached to it, and it's just like bang, 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 you're dead. Nothing anyone could do. You couldn't block it, couldn't do anything. And it just worked out so well, and I was just that impressed with it. So I thought, it's my turn to build one. I'm going to play that. So that's the deck. As I said, this one's a little bit shorter than normal. Thank you for watching this video. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. We're at 76 as I record this. I had a very nice comment the other day saying this is a criminally underrated channel. So you never know, by the time you watch this video in a few weeks when it comes out, I'll be higher than 76. I'm hoping I will be, but we'll see. We'll keep going. I'm doing it. It'll be here forever. The Twitch channel is still going really strong. We're up to 130 followers as I record this video. I stream, as always, on a Tuesday night and Thursday night in the UK from about 7:30 UK time till about 10 o'clock UK time. So bear that in mind. Come and say hello on Twitch then. I also stream on a Sunday afternoon from about 2 o'clock UK time all the way through to about 4:30, 5 o'clock. So you can usually catch me on one of the 3 days. And occasionally I do bonus streams as well. So keep an eye on my Twitter. The Twitter is linked down below. I let everyone, I tweet out when I'm going live now. I've got into the habit of doing it at long last, so yeah, go me. Anyway, thanks for watching this. Hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any other thoughts or anything else you think I should have included in the deck, let me know in the comments. I can always go in and change the deck, and I can update the deck list then, so you know. But anyway, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you on the stream very soon. Take care. Bye.